Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Hoda Smith. Today, I have a treat for you guys. We are going to discuss a brilliant man. If you see my background, Mr. Sidney Poitier. I have a legend, actually, in her own right. In the film industry, Miss LaTanya Potts. She has been a casting director. She's executive producer of her own studio, Go To Studios. She come from a very prominent family, the Potts family, within the entertainment and film industry. Once again, the lovely, brilliant, and talented LaTanya Potts. How you doing?
Oh, I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate you coming on the show. I don't take it lightly. You could be doing anything.
Yeah. Well, happy MLK Day to you.
Thank you. Same to you. I was blessed
Yeah.
to interview Dr. Bernice King just a couple of weeks ago, and then they added me to the media when she was announcing, what was going to be going on the celebration. So I'm a part of being now. Whatever they do something, I'll get an email. So God is good.
It sounds like you're in the loop now. So I heard it
I'm
was
trying to
snowing
be in
out
the loop.
there. I heard it was snowing where you're at. Is that true?
It's true, but in true fashion, in Georgia, true fashion, it's melting and the sun is not even up.
Okay. So
That's why,
look.
the spots. That's why we shut down, because we know it's not gonna be here long.
I understand. I completely understand. Well, at least it's a 3-day weekend and you all get to stay home.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. But well. Listen, when I say it's leaving fast, like it's still cold, but the snow is just. I don't see it in my grass. It's leaving. The streets are clear. I was like, if I was a kid, I'd be so upset right now.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay.
My first question for you is, you met Mr. Sidney Poitier back in what was it 98, 1998?
Yes,
Yeah,
97.
97.
Yeah, in the production of Oprah Presents David and Lisa.
What impressed you about him as a man, as an individual?
Well, originally, like anybody else, you're intimidated,
Hmm.
when you're around greatness. So understand Oprah
Yeah.
and him. So back in that era, that was a little intimidating to be, a part of a production that housed both of those, because those were pillars in our household of
Yes.
great. So being there and not, it wasn't many of us on that set at that time. So, noticing that was my first movie of the week. So
Okay.
that was new for me, embarking into television mainstream with Harpo Productions and with Mr. Portier being, the prominent star, of that production. At first I was intimidated, but there was an essence that kind of preceded him before he entered the room
Okay.
that said, relax,
Hmm. Okay.
I'm just like you.
Okay.
And that's what I felt. And so when our eyes locked, because you got to tell really what's going on when you catch the person's eyes, when I seen the compassion in the
Hmm.
eyes and the welcome, it was really, it really softened, the tone of that whole production, and we shot, it was a pretty long, it was pretty long. We shot, and so there were many days and many nights of conversation, and many some juggernauts were definitely given
Okay.
that I hold on to today. That need I say more? I will share one. Well, maybe two. Okay. So one is that he shared with me, in his contract that he made sure that it stipulated that behind the scenes, there were people that looked like him. And I said, wow, you know? And so then I looked around and I said, oh, so that's why we here. So, um, because it definitely wasn't on my merit because I was new in the business. So it definitely wasn't because of me. And something that I had done previous to warrant me to be able to walk through that door. So that really touched my heart because it is really hard to embark in an industry that that doesn't embrace a lot of the color lines at that time. So to say safely, knowing that someone is paving the way and you have no idea, so you have to pay it forward. And that's kind of one of the things that I made sure that I do and continue to do in front and behind the camera. So I know in the commercial industry, commercials go so fast. There's a lot of revenue to be made there, but it goes so fast. Even if you ask for a person of color, if don't nobody show up, they change the role to somebody else.
Wow.
So, that's probably a little too much information though, but if I get in trouble, I'll come find you, Otis. No, but I'm just saying this, yeah, just being realistic. I seen, roles change right in my face. And I'm saying, but I know for a fact they asked for someone of color, but if they don't come fast enough, we got to take the next person and moving on.
That's amazing. My headset just wasn't working for me, so I had to just go and take it off. But
okay, I thought I couldn't hear. I saw your lips moving. I said, uh-oh. Okay,
no,
go ahead.
That's amazing. Excuse me, because he had the foresight to see that, okay, I'm in a position, but for me really to be in a position, I've got to put other people in position. And for him to do that and then allow opportunity for yourself to be involved as well as Oprah, because we already knew who Sidney Poitier was prior to we knowing who Oprah Winfrey, who she became. So he already still, like you said, had that in a contract to say, look, if you're gonna work with me, if you want me to be a part of a project, here's my stipulations. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, most of the time, most people asking for certain type of water, certain fruit in the behind this, will come with, I want red M&Ms only on the table, things of that, like something. And all he said is he just want to make sure that I open the door for as many people that look like me as possible, whether they were aware or not. And i.e., Mr. Poitier, like he didn't wear makeup, but he had a makeup artist.
Wow.
He didn't need none of that. Like you need, oh shoot, this happened the other day. I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Let's see, hold on, let me try to figure out how to stop this.
It's just the camera's off, that's all.
Okay, just kicked me off of another interview the other day. Okay, am I back? Okay, I'm so sorry. I knew better. I'm so
sorry. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like you were saying is that I like the reason that foresight is so impressive to me is because he wasn't thinking about himself. you know, a lot, and I'm sure you know this in the industry you work in. A lot of time, like you said, or what M&Ms or what drink to get me, or this, that, and the other, is more selfish. Where he was more thinking, look, we got people, my people, who have talent and skill, but if I don't put them in a position behind the scenes as well as in front, because think about it, like you said, minority period, so that could be another actor, you know. So that's stuff that we need to know, because that speaks to the man, not the actor. When I do interviews, I'm never trying to interview the actor or the athlete. I'm trying to interview who the person is. that that's because that's what you do is not who you are. This is what you do.
You are so right. You are absolutely right.
Now,
What I could say about Mr. Poitier is he always stood for something. And I put the emphasis on the G for a reason, because that in itself, you got to remember, he's not a U.S. citizen.
you know what? I did not know that until I read, as I was reading more and more about him, that he was not a U.S. Yeah, he was in the United States, but he wasn't a U.S. citizen.
He definitely wasn't of the United States. He was
Right.
in it, but not of it.
Of it,
So
right.
that speaks volumes of his family dynamic back home, and how he brought it with him when he came over, here, and allowed us to have a piece of him. So
Yes.
I'm so honored. And even when the doors were shut for him, and then when they opened young in his career,
Mm-hmm.
he would still say no to roles that were demeaning of who he stood for as a person.
Well, and that's by you, and I forgot to mention, by you, um, went from the time that you met him and you guys develop a friendship, and you knew him. Excuse me. One of the things, that's why I changed my backdrop, because I also forgot to mention that you are also a historian of film, and because of your background that you do and your family, is that I think people don't understand, like, this background behind me, In the Heat of the Night, for him, because they don't understand that In the Heat of the Night and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, that's 1967. All right. So what people don't understand, the climate was totally different. So can you speak to the importance of the role he played? And the reason I chose this shot, because 1967, to slap a white man, I don't care if it's a movie, to slap a white man on screen, that's a big deal. No, 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 no. I'm talking about, I'm just,
no, I know
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
But if you know me, if anybody tell you about me,
Uh-huh.
I'm probably one of those ones that I speak my entire mind.
Gotcha.
So I'm okay with whatever way you want to go, but you're absolutely right. This was not just in this particular moment and on this particular production.
Right.
This was a slap completely across America and abroad, right?
Right.
Do you see how the chest kind of like went
Yeah.
out? Like,
Yeah.
It reminded me of when Obama won.
Yes.
And I was walking through the Philly airport.
You had your chest out.
I was like 20 feet tall though, right? Because everybody else had their head down. I had not known the announcement.
Okay.
I just got off, I just deplaned.
Right.
So walking through, everybody had their head down that I was walking past. I said, well, what the hell going on? Excuse my language.
No, you're
like,
fine.
What's going on around here? And then I found somebody that resembled me, and they kind of had their head up, and they said, have you heard? I said, have I heard what? And they said, oh, we all the way in. I said, you talking about next door in? He said, yes. And I said, whoa. And then out there, I was 20 feet tall as I walked out to go find the car that was looking for me, right? And that's what, to me, that's what this scene amplifies in terms of America. Like certain moves in history stood for more than what is imaginable.
And now this next one I'm going to bring to you, and you're probably going to know why as soon as you see it, why I bring this one out as well.
Ooh, okay.
See, people don't understand the significance. I'm afraid that because we're talking about 1967, we're talking about at a time one, I don't know which one came out first, but still we're talking about a slap to a white man in a film, which you know, back then they didn't want to do that either. And then now you're talking about I'm going to marry a white woman. All right. I ain't going to just have relations with her. I'm going to marry her, you know, in 1967, not 1977, not 1877, not 97, not 2007. And I think, Ms. Potts, is that people try to equate what he did back then to like it's today. And it's like, no. You just looking at it today. But that's not what the climate was back then. You know, and so I wanted to, because I know you're a historian, you know, the significance of a Sidney Poitier playing those two roles in that particular time. Because remember, just a year later, MLK was assassinated.
There was a lot going on back then. And, you know, I was, you know, like in my mother's arms around that time.
Right, yeah.
But just understanding what barriers we were crossing and fighting for, you know, you have to know that this man is before his time.
Yes.
He had to come to America. He had, you know, there were some things in his assignment that had to be completed, and he could not have completed them back home. Right. He couldn't do it on I'm gonna say an island level. He needed to go on a national platform, which what US brought him, and where media was very prominent and opening up, you know, a widespread. He had to do that at that time. And then, and I always say it, it's always insight, because you have a lot of people that, you know, they may do things behind closed doors. They may say yes or no when they shouldn't. We're seeing now, and in this new era that we're in, a lot of things that we probably would not have seen, or like our grandparents or great grandparents would not have had the opportunity to see, where, you know, where things are going. There's some things that we could pull back, well, to say, like even in the music industry, you know?
Yes.
Certain things, there's a lot of things that go on behind the closed doors, you know? And in my opinion, it should remain behind closed doors. Is, you know, your personal business is your personal business.
Right.
But when you make a stance in front of America, and in the 60s, they called it white America, then now, yeah, you really the man.
And I think, let me ask you, do you feel like, because I'm 50, so, but I understand, but do you feel like a generation, even in film now, that they don't know what Sidney Poitier stood for? And the reason I asked that question, just to give you some context, is because, you know, sometimes we just look at, you know, the films and the great actor he was. But when people come across him, you know, just to meet him or whatever, they really don't get it. Like, they really don't get him. It's just a thing to say, maybe, hey, I met Sidney Poitier, or I came across Sidney Poitier, not really taking the time to understand what he was about as a person.
I don't think, unless you've met that man, I don't think you could even, there's not enough words that could be said. I had a house fire at our home. And I had some young children. And so I said, Sidney, I can't keep commuting into the city. Of course, I went to my family's house, which was outside of the city limits. And I said, I know you got a guest house, so I need to come stay in the guest house. This is what I said.
Okay.
And he said, I used to have that, LaTanya. I live in the penthouse over here. He told me where. And I said, so you don't have no guest house? Because, I was thinking of Cato living in OJ's guest house.
Right.
It's like it's pretty comfortable, right? I want to come over here to Beverly, right? This is what I was saying. I want to come to Beverly and stay in the guest house, And he said, but my daughter lives XYZ, and she's away for 6 months. You can go stay at her house. And I said, oh no, my children ain't about to break nothing in her house.
Okay.
I don't want to even be responsible for, and I said, La Leak and, all of that. I said, oh no, that'll be my whole paycheck. No, thank you. But it was like, look, don't stress yourself out. You're going to get through this, Yeah. And I did, and I did not, go, well, he didn't have the guest house. And I really was looking for what I saw Kaylin with. That's what I really was looking for. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I want to be on the property, but just a little away, And if the kids, I don't want them to be, too loud,
Sure.
And I don't want them to tear up nothing. So I want to keep them in proximity, And that wasn't what I got, but I said, wow. But still offering,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just still, because you would consider family, because I know he ain't offer everybody that.
Everybody not gonna ask, okay?
But still, some people know they can't ask. That's why they not gonna ask. Like you just don't.
But I wanted to though. I really wanted to stay in the guest house when I seen how nice they were.
Okay. Now I am gonna be a little messy because you said messy, so I'm gonna be messy, and not really messy. I'm gonna put some pressure on you. So when are you gonna put a film together about Mr. Sidney Poitier? I didn't say a documentary. I said a film.
That's real messy. But he's so worthy of so many films, and if I could do something that I think would
or a TV series, yeah.
Well, thinking off the top of my head, I would love to do something that could embark, like maybe be a part of the library system, on the educational side. If I really want, if I could put a little piece of something together, I would want to tie it to his homeland and would like everybody to be a part of it. I couldn't do nothing without, it would be him, and maybe, something his daughter would want to do.
Well, I mean, to make sure that it's done right, a film.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not worthy, but I'll contribute as much as I can.
You are worthy, not only by you being a friend, but watch this. Because also your background of being a casting director, understanding who may have the acting chops, watch this, who we've seen or have not seen, because I'm the chemistry to be able to put, because I've some of the best films or TV projects, whatever that I've seen, right, were people who you might have seen them here and there, but they weren't stars, right? And then they come together. You got this collaboration of people coming together, and the thing just works. Like a show like The Wire or something like that. You kind of seen some,
yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I had never seen Idris. I had seen Wood.
He
right,
was
but
from the Great Britain.
right.
Nobody had seen him.
Right. I mean, I had seen Wood Harris and some of the other guys because of different pictures, and some of them played on the corner and Oz, but they were supporting roles. And then you put them in a melting pot, and so with, like I said, with your background, because sometimes when I wish people would do more, Miss Potts. I'm seriously, I wish people would do more what New Edition did, which was to tell their story while they're here. Because then when the person is not here, people start adding stuff. Then other people try to act like they knew. You met the man in passing. You ain't know the man like that, and so if something like that happened, I hope the family just says, "Hey, LaTanya, you know him. Come on, let's make sure this is right. Let's just, let it be told correctly."
I would love to be a part of that.
I could have played
And
him. I could have played him 20 years ago when I was lighter. I got. I know. I'm talking about the weight. I mean, I had the skin complexion down. I got the skin complexion down, but I'm too heavy now.
you know, that's interesting because like you said with the New Edition, and I was thinking when you were saying the unknown, and Jeffrey Wright has been, he studied, acting. And when we met him, I believe we might have saw him originally, like I think it was Superfly, where people were like, have you seen? And they're like, we got our greats up in there, and they're talking about a third party role is what we call it.
Okay.
But that's who everybody was talking about. And he really, and he wasn't even trying. That just
talking about the remake. Talking about the remake.
Remake.
Oh yeah, old boy was on point. Oh yeah, dude was.
Oh yeah, but nobody. What I'm saying is not that he hadn't been circulating, because he had been.
Right.
But then you just recall when you were just speaking, it reminded me of that.
Sure.
Like at that particular time when you got some name people that, that's my main men, and then someone comes up and just shows up and shows out is what we call it. You want that. And to me, Mr. Poitier, he was more than that, because if you met the person, you already knew, you got the whole meal. It wasn't just an entree. And that's what I love, and I want to make sure that we, always hold, him of high integrity and standards, and make sure that his name is never diminished.
Right.
We have to.
And
not let it roll back home and then we forget. Because I noticed they always writing us out. That's why I have to stand for legacy. And in my family, I have to stand true on the shoulders of my ancestors that, they were in radio and young children, child actors.
Right.
They were in radio before even, they were into television. We got to do better at staying. And I love what you're doing, because you're like, look, if you don't give me a show on the air, I'm still going to do a show that's going to end up on the air, because you're interviewing people, and your show and your technique is going to be warranted on the screen.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
The personality, everything, and the selection of people that you interview. We all have so much to tell you, and you make us comfortable that we might say anything. I hope you edit some of that out. but if that we're comfortable with you enough to just be candid about certain scenarios.
You're the second person said that, and thank you, because I'm a people's person. I've been that my whole life. I'll talk to you like I've been knowing you for years, and then I'll come back and say, "Excuse me, what's your name?" My wife would tell you, I just been that way my whole life. I I I went so fast with my wife, and then forget. You're like, I just one day just over the phone. I said, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "I'm not doing that." I said, "You want to get married this year?" Just because I knew I had the right one. Wasn't no need to be playing around. I ain't got time to just look. It's been 2 years. Let's go. I ain't got time, And I thank you for that because um, I can't think of her name right now, but played Harriet Winslow on Family Matters. Uh, Told me the same thing, and so I appreciate that. I just try to make sure I'm asking you questions that people want to know, but at the same time, asking questions where we're not having the same conversation that you had with everyone else. I don't want to have those same conversations. So certain questions people have asked me, why didn't you ask that? I said, because I watched 3 or 4 interviews and she had already been asked that. So I wasn't not going to ask that question. The same conversation. Why, what you on my show for to have the same conversation you had with somebody?
Right. Okay. So let me give you a little bit that a lot of people don't know about me. They know I'm 4th generation. If they don't
Yes.
know today, I'm 4th generation film pedigree. If they don't know now, they know. Okay. I have over 20 years in casting and producing. And I also have an aviation company. It's called Go To Air. And we fly the camera for the film industry. So
Yes.
we also fly people privately around the world, as well as producing shows. And that's why I said your show, because you never know who you're speaking with. There are opportunities that are not known mainstream, that are known behind the scenes of opportunities. And then people, I know a couple people looking for a show like yours. So I'm going to, do my due diligence to have a conversation with you and to have a conversation with them. And if it works, then I'm gonna put you two together.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I will call you as soon as we finish.
Yes, so that's the thing that you don't know being behind the scenes. I also work on the financial side and funding certain projects.
I saw that.
Mhm.
What goes into, because a lot of times people think, okay, casting director, but what I'm talking about, what one of the things that many things that you've done, but also what goes into that, like, because you, Ms. Fox, a lot of people will think, oh, I can do that. She just going and picking people. People, when somebody told me, when you're doing a good job, you make it look effortless. You make it look easy. So what goes into that, trying to get the right chemistry, when a company, a film or director, people are entrusting you to put a cast together, what goes into making that happen?
Well, you all see the final project, the final ensemble,
Right.
but we may have seen thousands of people. Now, we narrow it down to make it painless for the studio or the network.
Mm-hmm.
And we only show the best of the best.
Right.
And then collectively, it's a collective effort. We pick out the best that, combine together that will be for that particular project. Now, every now and again, I'm casting all the time. I'm casting if I'm at the airport, if I'm at the grocery store, if I see something, you don't know what I'm casting for. Because if I'm casting for a commercial and I'm looking for some twins and I see them at the grocery store, then there goes my dinner that I'm planning for. I got to have a conversation with this parent that I know has nothing to do with the industry and explain it to them fast enough, because again, certain things move fast, like commercials, to see if they're interested. Can I get them a work permit fast enough? Like I'm pulling together other components that nobody even knows about to make sure that we can get them and present them, but for the ultimate good of that particular product, I might have made, first of all, I just paid for their education. Their parents don't know that yet, but I know that.
Gotcha.
I know those contracts. I'm giving you a national contract that's going to make sure that each one of these kids go to college. I guarantee you that. That's how much money they're going to have in their account if this happens the way that I foresee it to happen.
Wow.
And so to answer your question, how do we do it? We're in the middle. We're a balancing act. We're in the middle of making the client happy, the agent happy, the actors happy, the director. Like, we're in the middle, and we used to call it a thankless position, because after everything is done, they forget our name. They'd be like, I want to thank Joe and Sally and Sue for this, and you be like, we like,
I'm the one got you the gig.
I mean, like, like, you don't even know, like, I was on the phone till midnight fighting for you. Like, you don't know? They never told you? Your agent didn't tell you?
No, the agent made it seem like it was him. That's what that
Exactly.
was. Or her.
No, we learned that the hard way, though. But I'm just saying, we do a lot, and it's not about us.
Sure.
In order to be in casting, it can't be about you.
Okay.
You got to be a selfless person.
How
and
do
if you have those abilities,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, cream rise to the top. I've yet to put some in coffee or tea. I'm a tea person, though, but that is sink to the bottom,
Well, one thing I will say this is what my philosophy, I always turned that around a little bit. Not so much that cream rise to the top, but cream will change whatever it interacts with.
Yeah, I agree with you. It can turn. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because you take black coffee and put cream, that black coffee is not black anymore. So it changes the dynamic of whatever it interacts with. So to your point, that it makes, in this case, a film, it makes it better. That what? Let me ask you this: what is that you see? What is the most misunderstanding about putting the film together or working in the film industry that you see that the average person think they just know?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Well, everybody think they could do it. You're absolutely right. My son told me, he was 13, said, "Ma, I could do what you do." Because I had him run the camera for me one day. Okay.
Not 13.
Didn't show up. He's like, he told me a week later he could be a casting director. And I just shook my head. And I said, because he only come one day a week, but he don't see none of the negotiations, none of that. He done missed the whole. I said, they won't even talk to you. Like, agents are, well, I'll just say management.
I already know where you're going. I already know where you're going.
No, they won't even speak to people.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll be honest with you. So, I lived in Georgia for 10 years. Know that.
Come on back home. Yeah, I saw you. You still have a studio here, right?
I gained about 100 pounds. No, I came there and ate so good. I was a fat vegetarian, but I was happy. I ate some of the best food I had in a long time. But what I can say is I had a Georgia number and I called, I won't say the talent's name. I sent an email.
Right.
And someone felt the need to call me because I said, call me at my Georgia number. And this is when this Hollywood of the South was just kind of like on the surface. It wasn't really out. It definitely wasn't no Tyler or anything. Right. And this young lady proceeds to call me to tell me, like, I dare you send an email for this particular A-list talent. And as we were in conversation, I let them speak because,
sure,
I was using my Southern hospitality that I usually don't use, because I'm from the West Coast. So, I really am not like, I'm not Southern hospitality.
Okay.
Anyway, but I was calm. And I just, after they said what they said, I completely tore a whole new one for them. And they never did it again because they knew, well, first of all, if executives have to take my call, even if they don't want to, then I must be on a certain list for a certain reason.
Right. Right.
Like if I call, you got to pick up, even if you don't want to talk to me. I mean, I arrived somewhere along the lines, right?
Right. Correct.
But that showed you the lack of respect that they have for other people embarking in the industry, is what I'm trying to say. So as much as you think that you can and you will, and they want you, and they don't even want your money. The film industry is the most, if that industry could tell you what they will and won't accept. And I thank Tyler Perry for that, breaking those barriers. But even so, still a lot of things are done just only down in the South, you know, that is not regulated or up to regulations of the, you know, of the industry. So now, okay, so I'm gonna be quiet for a minute.
No. I got you. I got you.
Say people, you think because you have the money that you could complete a task, and that's not accurate. You can make a movie,
right,
but you can't get it distributed.
Right? I got what you're saying. Trust me, I read between the lines well.
Right. So if you get a finished product, like if you made it to the finish line and you got a couple of actors, because you know people want to work, you definitely don't have Tom Cruise, and you won't get him. Is it going to work?
Is it one of the things in the film, or let me just say entertainment industry, period, right? Do you find that a lot of people, and I got one more question after this one, do you find that enough people, especially for us, African American, are not listening when someone is trying to tell them how to maneuver? Because maybe because they got a little success, you know, some jumped off right away, right? Some happened, right? Far as whether it was an actor, director, whatever, and you trying to say, okay, yes, this happened, is good, but I'm telling you X, Y, Z, and it's like they don't want to listen because they think they got all this success on their own, and you're trying to tell them how to move longevity.
Yeah, you get that. And sometimes the ego is just so big, you know, and so when you see that, you wish them the best.
Right.
And you just be quiet. Because it's like beating a dead horse, is that?
Or is it like being a parent to say you telling your child something, they won't listen, you're like, all right, they're gonna find out. When they find out, they'll be back.
Right, yeah, right. But see, let me tell you about Hollywood, and I'm gonna give you one example. Okay, and what about people? Okay, so you know Hype Williams, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Hype, the man, he took music videos to the next level.
Yeah.
Okay, right. He shot Belly, right?
Yep.
Fox said, you making $1 million videos every other week. We want some. Fox saying something different. Fox said $1 million videos, then he got a following. Like, you know, that's an untapped area.
Right.
That we could get a project done, right? And make a ton of money. But nobody told him that it's different lighting. You know, music video lighting, commercial makeup. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Different.
The little nuances.
Right. When he got this opportunity with Fox, no one told him that you need to use, he wanted to use his people because I'm sure he was more comfortable with them.
Right.
But nobody said, well, no, you should use these people because they know the film industry, right?
Yeah, correct.
And I'm not saying Hype had a big head,
right?
Because I believe he used the same level of expertise that he did in music videos in his film endeavor.
Sure.
But what happened to him after that? Because Belly went down. You know, we couldn't see it. I was
about to say it was dark. It was dark. Yeah.
Look at you. I said I didn't want to say that though, but I said I can't see.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I don't have to talk about nobody because I don't. You know, I don't. I just. Yeah, I know what you mean. It was too dark, and even the scenes that were supposed to be dark, like you to your point, your lighting wasn't enough. Where yes, I know it's dark, but I can still see what I'm
What's
supposed to
going
see.
on?
And to your point, so there was no one to say, look, you can use your, like, I'll use me as an example. Okay, you can use your people, but you need to have me to come on as a consultant so I can tell your people what they need to be doing. So not only do you look good, but their name is attached to it as well because you're putting their names in the credits. So they will look good as well. And so when you don't have that, like you said, then you make the mistake, and people, from what you're saying in the entertainment industry, don't necessarily always look at it as so and so made a mistake. It was their first time. They don't know. It's just like we're not fooling with them. Did you see XYZ? And people just don't fool with you.
Well, I was told early on in my career that the industry will let you make a mistake and make you pay for it for 10 years.
See, yeah,
Yeah, so you know, never know it all. Everyday school.
okay.
Wake up with that. Take that with you when you wake up. Straighten your crown, because we are kings and queens. Straighten our crown when we wake up and walk out knowing everyday school.
I and I think that's what I love about myself is that I take constructive criticism well. Because trust me, Miss Marie.
I love her dearly.
Listen, if I had to go back because she's gonna make sure before I send a request out to anybody she's dealing with that request is the way it's supposed to be. And I never got mad. I never got upset because to me, that's free advice. You don't get upset somebody trying to show you what to do and how to do it, and then you go catch an attitude. They trying to help you out. So I thank her. I thank her for that. I thank her for that. My final question for you today is how have you evolved? How have you grown since you started in the industry, as far as you as an individual getting your chops, seeing what your family did, right? Fourth generation, seeing what your family did, and then you're coming in, doing it yourself in your own, and then to where you are now. How have you evolved since then?
I think I got my wings. If you want to ask, if I could say that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell you why. I feel like what I do now in the industry, I feel like I bless people.
Gotcha.
People, production, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's more than meets the eye. If you hire me and you're an independent filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
you think you hiring a casting executive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's gonna get you A-list talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can get you an aircraft. I can also get you matching funds. I can also get you this, that, and the other, something you never embarked on. So if we cross paths, it's for your blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you get all of that at my rate. Most people don't get that.
Wow.
We're not in it to make money. We already make a ton of money.
Gotcha.
You can't take it with you, right?
I haven't seen anybody take it with.
Yeah, I've seen people try. I've seen people get buried in their sports cars, get buried with their money. They're not XYZ, but they grave get dug up in the middle of the night.
You heard?
But yeah, like I didn't seen it all, and heard it all. But what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, I feel like I got my wings because when I wake up, it's like, who we gonna touch today? Because sometimes it's just the words. It's even more, sometimes it's just a smile, right?
Right.
So that segues, we're producing a show. It's a network show.
Okay.
It's called The Wedding Angels.
The Wedding Angels.
And what we do is we bless people that are getting married.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Where can people find that show?
Well, this is in pre-production.
Pre-production. Okay. Okay.
So we will come back and I will tell you exactly, we may even do a segment where we look for people in your area via your show.
See, don't say that, because I just tell me and my wife, just, hey, let's just do our wedding
Let me hear
vows
it
over.
again.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
hey, because
okay.
I got married. Look, I got married on New Year's Eve, so I know when I got married, so I can always remarry on the same day I got married.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because maybe, and we're talking that through, because you're always thinking about the next. So we're also thinking about renewing of vows, because we do know some people eloped, so maybe they didn't get a honeymoon. So those are other segments that we call spinoff shows
Okay.
that we're also lining up in production. But we
Okay.
think just like that, we, bless people, not just on that level, but on many levels.
Sure. Sure.
So I just feel like that, from where I started to where I am today, I
Got your wings.
wake up like I know I walk with real light.
Well, I look. I like the jacket you got on. I meant to tell you that. I like that
Oh,
jacket.
thank you.
See,
Thank you so much.
I like that jacket. I should have worn mine. I got a
Yeah,
I got a bad leather jacket. I got a bad leather jacket, but in Georgia, I got to wait till it's cold before I can just break it.
I mean, it can't get no colder than the snow now. I don't know.
Yeah, I might put it on and walk outside.
Please do it just for me. Do it just for me. Walk out there and look good when you do it.
Look, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you in a few minutes and have it on.
There you go.
But I appreciate you.
Mr. Otis, I really do.
No, I appreciate you coming on the show, blessing us with your presence, letting us know the things that you do, what you got going on, and also letting us know, who Sidney Poitier, just giving us a glimpse of who Sidney Poitier was. And once again, just continue to stay safe and continue to do what you're doing and be blessed as well.
Exactly. And if I could say some parting words for Mr. Poitier and to America is Iwa Pele, that young man who has met the ancestor realm, has given us kind and gentle character. And that's what I take each step of every day with that in mind.